Guys, welcome back to Talk Tuah, the official companion podcast to the massively successful online internet podcast Talk Tuah with Haliey Welch. We're your hosts. I'm Cam.
And I'm Peter.
And guys, today we are covering episode 4 with guest host Dasha?
Yeah.
Dasha?
I think it's Dasha. When I saw the thumbnail at first, I saw the episode title, I thought it was Dasha, pronounced like that. Haliey throws her the ball, immediately asks her, how do you pronounce it? This girl, she says Dasha.
I thought it was the girl from Red Scare.
Really?
Dasha.
See, I figured that maybe there wasn't much of an overlap between those audiences. They probably aren't. I think Haliey might have to establish herself further into the podcast industry before she has on another big podcaster.
Well, hold on now. I think Talk Tuah is certainly much bigger than Red Scare.
But it's still the anti-establishment series. I think with establishment series like Strongholds, like Red Scare, I think they're probably, shaking in their boots a bit.
Sure.
Knowing that Haliey is emerging on the scene and already usurping them in a lot of view counts and all the metrics that matter.
Well, so regardless, though, this week's guest, Dasha, is an up-and-coming country star. She recently performed at the CMA Awards.
Yeah, I think she had won an award just the night before recording this episode podcast, but I don't think that means she's cut out for podcasts. And I don't mean to be harsh. I know I'm coming out.
Let's keep it objective. I know.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm putting the cart before the horse here.
Well, look, any friend of Haliey's is a friend of ours.
Yeah.
I get the feeling, though, sometimes that these guests come on and they want something from Haliey. They're trying to, I don't want to go back to episode 3 too much, but, when we had Caitlin on with her wine label or asking for sponsorships.
Yeah. Asking for a cut of Haliey's profits.
Doing little digs at her and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Don't love that.
Yeah. And, Dasha, I don't think this episode really leaned in so much into that realm of being a bad guest host. I just thought that...
Well, they're certainly not soul sisters.
Yeah.
That was the title. Are we soul sisters?
No. I think it was clear that they're not, because Haliey has so much more to offer.
Yeah.
And I think Dasha came in and she was just so quick to just lean on names of people that she's been in the same room with.
She was name dropping a lot.
Yeah, she's just listening to her, I'm just like, all right, I guess I'm learning about other people, not about Dasha.
I want to learn more about Dasha. She was talking a lot about the history of country music. I mean, all right, so let's take it from the beginning.
Okay.
From the get-go, I don't know how I was feeling about Dasha when she came in. Immediately took her shoes off.
Yeah, let the piggies free.
She's sitting there. She is gracefully handed some gifts by Haliey. Haliey handed her a beautiful gold chain. She handed her earrings.
Yeah.
From her new fashion.
Yeah, she's got an up-and-coming jewelry line, which I'm excited to see how that comes out. I don't think it's wide release yet. I mean, maybe it is. As of our recording, we still have a few episodes to catch up. I don't know what the latest developments are.
Guys, we're working our hardest, please.
Yeah.
But the thing is, she also gave her shirt, I need to talk to a therapist.
Classic.
Now, I feel like Dasha kind of took these gifts and was like, oh, wow, thank you. These are so nice. Immediately... So she puts the gold chain on, immediately takes it off.
Does a 180 immediately.
Passes the shirt, who knows where, maybe throws in a waist bin.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I imagine.
Earrings, throws them right.
Yeah, it definitely didn't feel as though Dasha really understood what a boon this was that Haliey was offering to her. She was so quick to discard the gifts, which certainly rubbed me the long way, left a sour taste in my mouth.
Well, here's the thing. When Dasha gave Haliey a gift, a country camo hat from her line. She has some country boots coming out.
Yeah.
Which she bragged to Haliey, oh, I gave Alice Cooper some custom boots. Okay.
Yeah. Who is that?
Cool. You don't see Haliey bragging about the people wearing her brand. That's a side note. But listen, she gave her some merch. Yeah. Haliey put it in her lap and just had it sitting there the whole time. Yeah. Really respectful. And again, it shows you who's top dog here.
Yeah.
We are in the den of Talk Tuah.
Yeah.
And Haliey is queen.
Yeah. And speaking of Den of Talk Tuah, we found another new studio. I think this might be a different studio than any of the prior episodes, but they have returned back to the custom sign. The show title, Talk Tuah with Haliey Welch, is back. It's neon. It's hanging between Haliey and her guest.
When we fixed it, the last episode, guys.
Yeah, I thought we'd found the right solution. I guess we haven't learned anything. But with Haliey Welch, overblown as ever.
You literally cannot read it. It looks just like a blur, a blob.
Pretty disappointing development. I'm hoping that going forward we can go back to something like this screen setup with the show title.
But look, the other thing is, in the last episode, we were complaining. I mean, look, we shouldn't have critiqued it too hard because we said, you fixed this. That was great. The only thing, the headroom was a little wonky. It was so tight. It was so tight.
Yeah.
Now in this episode, they ran the other direction.
So
Chelsea's headroom was unbelievable.
Yeah, like you could fit a couple things above Chelsea's head if you wanted to. In that
two more frames playing that podcast episode in that space.
Yeah,
it was embarrassing. The technicals here fell off too.
Yeah.
The camera was shaky.
At one point, the camera shaked.
Oh.
It was just on the wide shot. I don't know. They did bring dogs back into the studio. I'm thankful for that. We asked for that last episode. Nice. Dogs are back. I don't know if maybe a dog jumped into the tripod, or I hope this isn't the case. I hope they didn't bring back the original camera operator from episode 1.
No, and that's my worst nightmare. I'm worried he has tenure or something.
If they're paying him or her the day rate, I'm just like, where... Come on. I think there's better allocations for our funds with Talk Tuah.
Well, and not only that, but the audio was just... I mean, we got to give that another pass, guys. It was getting dropped left and right. So many times mid-conversation, they'd be talking and saying something and a word would just fall out. You couldn't really understand or hear what they were saying.
I think that might have actually been censorship. I think...
Yeah, the beeps were loud as hell. It sounded like they got some static in there.
No, when they cut out audio, I think that was I think it just happened to be when they were saying the C word, which I know that gets flagged quite a bit on YouTube. I think that might have been like intentional. But aside from that, editing I felt was a bit rough at times. There were definitely some jump cuts, but there was certainly one moment in particular that stood out. Felt like a blip of a cut on Haliey and then just immediately jumped to the next thing.
I want to say that was around 33 minutes.
Did you have that time coded? Thank you.
I have to look for that, but...
Yeah. I mean, I just hope to see better craftsmanship going forward.
No, I'm sorry. The jump cut was at 50 minutes and 8 seconds.
Okay.
And it almost felt like they just brought in someone like James Wan to EP it see if they could scare us, Guys, Halloween's over.
Yeah.
Please.
We're well into November.
Let's get some people who know how to edit professionally in here.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's around the corner. Give us something to be thankful for next episode, please.
This is not a slight on Haliey.
Yeah.
By any means.
No.
The technicals,
she's doing everything right.
Jamie, this is where you need to step in as her manager.
Yeah.
Let's
almost
make
as
sure
a big
we
brother.
right people.
Yeah. So all that aside.
Yeah, just wanted to get that out of the way.
All that aside, I mean, the conversation with Dasha really went all over the place. We got some more Pookie talk. Personally excited about that. Pookie, there was speculation that Pookie is Chelsea's cousin, which I don't know if they're necessarily speculating that. We're just left to speculate because it is a bit unclear. They kind of throw it out there almost as a joke that Pookie might be related by blood to Chelsea, which would be quite complicated. It would feel almost like a sitcom setup.
The part of the conversation, the womb of the conversation where that theory was birthed from for me was when Chelsea was like, oh, yeah, I set you up with Pookie. He's my cousin, of course. Or she said something along those lines. But it was a little unclear if her cousin set them up or Pookie is her cousin. Do you know what I mean?
That's where the confusion came from.
Because it is still a little murky.
Yeah.
We don't know that much about Pookie. We're learning more every episode.
Yeah, we're learning more about the conditions of his relationship with Haliey.
We know he's got a one-eyed monster.
Yeah, we learned that little bit of scandalous detail. Talking about sexual stuff, Haliey reveals that she ran away from Pookie's, I presume, at one point or another, and that was a bit of a laughter moment. Got me to chuckle. I mean, the term one-eyed monster really leaves it open to imagination. I mean, I'm thinking monsters like Frankenstein's monster, Dracula. I'm kind of wondering what kind of monster in particular this thing looks like. Maybe like a more classical Cyclops from Greek mythology.
Yeah, I imagine a more classical creature from the Iliad or something of that sort.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it
Greek
made
or
me
Roman mythology.
Yeah. I mean, it made me wonder about Haliey's, sexual proclivities, how comfortable she is being totally intimate with a partner.
Well, now hold on a sec, because we know that Dasha said, of course, that Pookie lays pipe.
Yeah, we got that tidbit too, which I laughed out loud because it felt fitting. I don't know.
Referring to him as a construction worker, yes?
I just think it's up for debate. I think it could be more of a metaphorical job. I think laying pipe traditionally could mean having sex.
No, come on. In a construction job, we know Pookie works construction. Pipe is the first thing when you excavate the place, whatever you're building, you put pipes in.
I mean, come on. How many are they building an aqueduct in Nashville? How many pipes could this guy be laying?
Well,
on the job site. I just I find it hard to believe that that's his entire job title. I think he's got
well, look, the thing is,
a bit more to offer.
If we know that she's running away from his one-eyed monster,
yeah,
how is he then laying pipe?
She comes back. She comes running right back.
She runs back, does she?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I don't know why you wouldn't believe that. Pookie's got... I mean, the way she describes him in this episode, too, says he's got dark hair and blue eyes, and she says this with such clear affection for the man.
He looks like Matt Rife.
Or Matt Rife looks like Pookie. So, I mean, which came first, the chicken or the egg in this kind of situation? The Rife before the Pookie?
Well, listen, we... before we get off the proclivities part of this episode, I got to say, Dasha came in hot. She was a horn dog this episode.
Got major
Potty
horny
mouth.
vibes.
Come on.
Yeah, massively horny vibes from Dasha all the way through the hour and 3 minutes that this episode was.
It seemed like Haliey just kind of wanted to talk about their star signs and, the way she was raised.
I'll push back on that. Dasha was the one who brought up star signs with Haliey.
Well, sure, but I think Haliey wanted to grab onto that and learn a little bit more about them potentially being star sisters. I think Haliey wasn't trying to only talk about sex stuff this episode.
I think it definitely was getting on Haley's nerves from what I could tell. Certainly was getting on my nerves, I'll tell you that much.
Well, and again, I think Dasha went into it and she was, stuttering her way through the question, just obliterating the question of saying, what's the weirdest, thing you've done in bed,
Yeah.
Do you have any weird things? And that was when, do you remember Haliey said, I like to cat call guys. I actually, dog call, I guess you'd say.
She barks like a dog, which caught Dasha by surprise, but I thought it was fitting. I mean, Haley's clearly got a thing for dogs. She clearly has a strong love for them and is always thinking about protecting dogs, taking care of them, supporting them. So, of course, thought of dogs might come up in the bedroom for her.
Well, and it's also interesting because if she's doing a catcalling thing, I guess that does kind of lean into your point about her and Pookie, because Pookie, that is a famous construction worker kink, catcalling people. So if she also shares that same fetish, I think they match each other's freak in that way. I don't think Matt Rife is the type of person to be catcalling women. I think he's too busy working on, stellar joke writing.
His
that takes
next
a lot of time.
five.
Yeah.
And I think, I hadn't thought of that. The catcalling connection. I think that definitely is an interesting bond between them.
For sure. But then, of course, she's trying to get her to say Talk Tuah.
Yeah, the whole time.
The whole time. It felt like stealing candy from a baby.
Yeah.
I didn't love that. We learned that Dasha is from SLO. She claims to be a real country girl. Is it country up there?
Well, for all the non-Californians, SLO is San Luis Obispo. It's about a 3-hour drive from Los Angeles. I made that drive one time to drop off a hard drive on another job, and then I drove back. The town seemed nice from what I could tell. Not really country forward, but...
What is the famous house? What's his name live there?
The house from
the
house?
The mansion, the big mansion.
The Hearst.
The Hearst Castle.
The Hearst Castle.
Guys, if you ever go to SLO, check out the Hearst Castle. There's also seals there.
I will have to do that next time I make the drive back up.
Well, hopefully you can deliver another hard drive soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
I wouldn't think of SLO as country. That was a little surprising to me.
Yeah. And we also learned that Dasha was a little high for this episode. I don't know how you felt about that.
Do you feel like it was appropriate, her coming in the studio high?
No, I don't at all. I think that was pretty presumptuous of her to think that she could get away with something like that. That Haliey wouldn't catch on to that. I think it was just like, come on, leave the pot at home. Like, you don't need this to get through the day.
Well, let me ask you this. Haliey loves smoking weed. She says she'd rather smoke weed than go to therapy.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
So with that being, well, come on. It's like coming into her studio. That's respectful.
There's a difference between smoking weed and smoking weed before a podcast. I mean, are you going to take this podcast seriously or not?
Right. So you're saying it would be more appropriate if they were to hang out and smoke.
What if I lit up a blunt in my room and then came out and said, "Hey, man, let's get to recording this"?
Well, I don't smoke.
No, but what if I did that?
Well, I don't smoke, so it would be rude. If I smoked, I don't think I'd care.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty. I think it's just, crossing a line.
It's not a good look.
Yeah.
It's not a great look. I'll give you that.
Not professional. I guess we'll just leave it at that.
But it's interesting, though, that you picked up on that because Haliey said her first impression of Dasha was that something is cooked here. That's a direct quote from Haliey. She said something felt cooked.
Yeah.
And then she said they clicked. She got to know Dasha. And then she was like, you know what? Dasha's a bro. But I think she initially was kind of thinking, oh, she's very high maintenance.
Yeah. Not
country as much as the country is being portrayed.
Yeah.
But I think she was surprised and said, this girl is really country.
Yeah.
She's a bro.
Yeah. The Haliey's bro meter picked up on the fact that Dasha might be a bro. There's some other fast facts about Dasha. She hasn't watched Love Island since its current season. She believes
not picking up on any TikTok reruns.
I guess not. Guess not. She thinks Chuck is daddy. I take it Chuck is a character on Love Island.
Do you think Matt from Love Island is more their type? Was it Matt? They were talking about Nate. I haven't seen it.
I haven't either. Maybe we should get into that. That could be a good thing to watch.
Well, I don't know how good it is if she hasn't watched it since its current season.
Well, Dasha also has a rat boyfriend crush or man she's had a thing with. She didn't call him a rat boyfriend. Haliey was kind of like, oh, that boy looks like a rat.
Now, hold on. I want to get into this.
Okay.
Because this is another example of Haliey packing no punches. She will fucking slam you in the face and doesn't care. Yeah. Okay. And I think people are intimidated by that kind of a person that's very blunt and upfront. She's not a bullshitter.
It's not easy to get adjusted to that, walking into a den like that.
No, especially when you're a little blazed.
Yeah.
So in Dasha's situationship, she said she was seeing this guy, and then he cheated on her in their situationship. And then she wrote a song about like setting his house on fire or something, or getting revenge, after being stabbed behind the back by this guy. And I think it's just downright unacceptable behavior, I think
on Dasha's part or this boy's part?
Well, what do you think? If you're in a situationship with someone, you shouldn't be cheating on them.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I think I feel like Haliey would maybe term her doings with Pookie as a situationship. And I can't really picture him cheating on her. So I guess it is probably pretty wrong to cheat on someone that you're emotionally, romantically entangled with. But I don't know if we can even draw battle lines just yet on Dasha and this boy that we don't even know.
Yeah.
But we do know that he looks like a rat, according to Haliey. And it came out that Chelsea has had a thing for rat boyfriends in the past as well.
But no, hold on. Because Haliey didn't just say he looked like a rat. She said he looks fucking... She was taken back.
Yeah.
She said he was fucking ugly.
She was
She
floored.
screamed.
Yeah.
She went through the camera roll looking at this guy and said, you think this guy is hot?
Yeah.
No.
She came down pretty hard on Dasha in that moment. And then we found out that she's come down just as hard on Chelsea for the boys she's been down bad for in the past. But then the biggest reveal of all is towards the end. I think it's Jamie from behind the camera makes a comment that Pookie looks a bit like a rat.
And he got flayed on a royal fucking spit roast for that.
Rightfully so. I mean, don't come for Pookie like that.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
When you're talking about that, it's like you have to remember where you are. You're with someone that she's winging it.
Yeah.
She's again not a bullshitter.
No.
So it's totally, I think, fair game for her to voice her opinion.
Yeah.
Dasha and Chelsea could equally have said, oh, push back on that, and they didn't.
Yeah. That's on them. They missed
Okay.
the ball at half court.
And I think even a 2v1, 3v1, if you get Jamie in there, I think Haliey still would have stood her ground.
Yeah.
Okay?
How do we feel about Haliey wanting to make a love song for Pookie? We had a bit of a musical intermission. I'm not a fan of musicals.
I'm not trying to watch a Hamilton podcast.
Yeah. I don't know why we needed to interject music into this podcast.
I do feel like Chelsea threw Haliey under the bus a bit when she said that the guitar in the studio was untuned.
Yeah.
Kind of alluding to the fact that it's just a prop and they don't play it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Dasha picked up this guitar. She stumbled her way through some chords, couldn't really find her way through the lyrics of this improv song, and I thought it was kind of a bust in the end.
Sure.
I'm glad she put down the guitar as quickly as she did.
Yeah.
We also got the bit of information that Pookie's family watches this show, which I thought, that made my heart flutter a bit, thinking about, the way that Pookie's family has become attached to Haliey, the clear love going back and forth between the two parties.
But it's pretty uproarious at times. I mean, they were talking about a concert that they went to the other night. She went to with Pookie.
I guess I'm not getting deep in the weeds of it. I'm just thinking that it's sweet.
No,
that
hold on. They said they
show.
went to go see Kid Leroy.
Yeah.
Her and Pookie. Pookie was there. And then she said if Pookie wasn't there, she would have gone up to Kid Leroy, batted eyes at him, and asked him what kind of panties he had on.
As a friend, maybe, or an
That's
acquaintance.
not. You don't ask a friend. What kind of panties do you have on?
Hanes.
That's not something you ask someone, though.
Okay.
Look, I just think the remark I found it a little bit to my,
Blasé.
feeling that maybe Matt is the one for her, because I think there's some subtle self-sabotage going on. I think her saying that she knows Pookie's family watches it, and then she does these little digs to kind of say, look, if Pookie wasn't there, fucking Kid Leroy, dude from Fortnite, his panties would be in my mind. Come on, man.
I don't know.
She was flirting a little bit with Dasha. They were talking about all this sex stuff. Come on, if Pookie's family watch, she doesn't want them to approve of her in the relationship. She'd rather have Pookie and Pookie's family end it so that she'd be a free agent to go see Matt Rife. Sorry, boom, mic drop.
The possibility of a marriage came up. She brought up the fact that Pookie would like to elope at a courthouse.
So why haven't they?
That was sweet.
Vegas style. She said she would do it Vegas style. You do it in a weekend. Is she just too busy?
That she probably is. She's got a lot going on, and I
Okay.
don't know in between podcast recordings how much time she has to fly out to Vegas and tie the knot.
You don't have to fly. She could drive out. She's in Beverly Hills at this new studio. Pookie is in LA. He said he texted her at the beginning of this episode and said, hey, I'll be there in 1 hour. They could easily go get married. If she loves Pookie and Pookie loves her, get married. Well, we know Pookie loves her.
And Haliey, if you don't like Pookie, ditch him. Do it. That's the ultimatum here, I guess. We're just going to be so cut and dry about this.
We don't need to be in terms of ultimatums. I'm just saying, I think most people could agree that Matt Rife would be so much better for Haliey's career. I mean, come on. Imagine being married to that guy, laughing your ass off morning, day, and night.
Look, he's funny, but I don't know if I want to be laughing 24/7 in a relationship like that. I think every relationship needs to have its balance, and I just don't know. I just don't see the match there. I guess we'll live to fight another day on this subject. Getting back to the title of this episode, Are They Soul Sisters? I think it was interesting when Chelsea noticed that they actually have matching tattoos, which, I mean, good on Chelsea. She's incredibly observant. I wouldn't have noticed that just watching it.
And they were 444 tattoos, like the four. It was like 444.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
on their arms, right?
Like the Jay-Z album, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, I mean, that was interesting. I guess that's a point in the column of them being soul sisters, despite everything else, because there's also a moment where Dasha refers to Haliey pretty derogatorily as a yapper.
Yeah, I thought that was a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Dasha, you're on a podcast. You're on Haliey's podcast. Haliey's being paid to yap, talk, just chat, and learn about the people she's talking
Pete,
to.
come on, man. You're such a yapper.
Because I'm on the podcast?
Yeah, I'm complimenting you.
Yeah.
That's a compliment.
Yeah. Dasha, you have a couple things to learn about podcasting, it seems.
I mean, look, the thing is, are they soul sisters? I don't know. They're both Pisces. What do we know about Pisces? I think they're probably very giving people.
Yeah. What birth month is that?
Pisces?
Yeah. November?
November Scorpio. That's
okay.
Me. You're what, Libra?
Libra. That's October, so I got that covered.
Pisces. Guys, if anyone
Probably somewhere in March, April, June range.
I think it's somewhere in that, anywhere from January to September, I think is fair game.
Or even December.
I know that Haliey has a little bit of fire in her chart, right?
Yeah.
That's probably where Harley comes out with brown liquor.
Yeah, with Fireball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think there was a really, really pivotal moment for me in this episode where Dasha asked Haliey if she wanted to come to her house party later.
Yeah.
Now, Haliey responded to someone who's been trying to big dog her the whole ep, keep in mind. Because Dasha's been name dropping this, that. Look at all my stuff. Look at my career. And Haliey said, maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll come. And she said, really? And Haliey said, yeah, maybe. And she was like, actually? And Haliey said, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I picked up on this too.
And then Dasha, the turning point here, finally was when Dasha said, come on, I have a joint for you. And then Haliey said, all right, I'm there.
It's what pushed her over the finish line.
I thought that was a really funny moment, just kind of, again, learning a little bit more about Dasha and then reinforcing what we already know about Haliey. Haley's there for a good time. So you better match that energy or you better have some kush on you.
Yeah. Haliey knows what she wants. She's actually pretty simple when you break it down. Not simple-minded or anything. She's incredibly gifted in a lot of areas, but she's simple in her needs. She's got the love language of food, maybe love language of kush.
Well, and that's why I think any guest on there that is going to be her soul sister that really does know her that well, knows her metaphysical essence, knows her, her wants, her needs, all these things, she should have just said, hey, you want to come over later? I'll roll you a blunt.
Yeah.
She was trying to, I don't know, I think just...
She's making it too complicated.
Yeah. It was kind of a weird ask.
Yeah. Pretty forward. And
almost too forward for me.
Yeah, she could have been more tactful about it.
Yeah.
What did we feel about Haliey's reveal that she had aspirations of becoming a surgeon?
Well, I could easily see her in the ER, and I think it would probably put a lot of people at ease.
Yeah.
Seeing her put a fucking smile on someone's face,
Yeah, I mean, I understand why Haliey probably took the podcasting route. I think she would have, served the medical field really well. Could have definitely saved a lot of people's lives. But, I mean, she's saving people's lives now through humor in a different way. Levity.
Yep.
She's, bright light in dark times.
When she also said the only way I could be a doctor is if I didn't have to smell anything. She's like, I'm okay with the gore, I'm okay with the blood and all that stuff, but I can't smell anything. And I'm thinking to myself, Haliey, the only way you can have this job is if you have COVID 24/7.
Yeah.
And I don't know the likelihood of that
There's
happening,
a lot of smells in that hospital.
And also, again, with the whole COVID, it's just, COVID wasn't really a thing down south. It didn't really happen down there.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of bullshit for them. More than anything else.
Well, I just think it was just more, it happened in more like cities and stuff like that. It wasn't really, Tennessee, I don't think was a state that got hit by COVID.
No, not necessarily.
So I don't think she would have been able to maybe do the doctor route,
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, what does that room smell like?
Yeah.
If smell is such a strong element for her.
What does a podcast studio? What does her own den smell like?
Yeah.
Well, there's dogs in there. Dogs can be smelly. I trust that Haliey's keeping the dogs she's rescuing pretty clean. So maybe there's no dog smell, but I imagine they have like a candle lit off screen. I like to think that it's got some nice aromas.
I'd imagine a nice Yankee candle. Hey, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Haliey goes on a little detour. She talks about how she's been going out, doing events, more like kind of like PR stuff for her own personal brand. And then the show, of course, she was getting DMs, and Chelsea was getting DMs too, from this guy, Rudy, who said that he had slept with Haliey.
Yeah.
He's a short guy. Apparently, Haliey never slept with this guy.
Yeah.
She barely gave him the light of day. She wouldn't even take a shot with him.
No.
He's a POS.
Yeah, she gave him a cold shoulder, and he thought he could fight back.
I don't know how much we could say about this guy.
He's
He
a
just
small
kinda
man.
seems- he's a little Napoleonic guy that maybe has the same lawyer as her and thinks he could kind of say something like that and then continue to do business in the entertainment field.
Yeah, pretty unprofessional coming from him. I hope that Haliey doesn't have to cross paths with him or any other guy like that going forward. Yeah, it was definitely an upsetting story for her to share. But she shared it when they were comparing their stories of wildest nights out. So Haliey shares that, and then Dasha, she thinks, oh, let me share just like what I think is a funny story after you share this kind of like traumatic experience.
Well, and she wanted to one-up Haliey, I think.
Yeah. She said, oh, you got harassed by a pervert. Let me tell you about the time that I had an absolute blast in London, and I'm going to probably embellish a few details as I tell this story.
Oh, come on. I think the whole thing was a fib. Are you kidding me? She was desperate for attention.
Total fabrication.
I think so. She said she went to this exclusive club, The Box, which I've never heard of, by the way.
Yeah.
And
Where is that? Near the Channel? Yeah. I don't know much about London, but Big Ben was there, I bet.
Yeah, The Box. I mean, come on. It's near the Cup, you know?
Let me put this back.
Well, listen, she said
Is this on the ledge?
She went into the club, and she said there was this man on stage who had breasts and a penis.
Yeah, both.
Okay.
The complete package, as some would say.
She said there was cake being thrown around, all this stuff. There were a lot of guys there. And then this man starts eating his own shit. He takes a shit on stage and eats it.
The man with the breasts and the decides to just lay a fat one on the stage and then ingest it.
Yeah.
Take it back into his system.
It feels very childish. It feels like something you'd hear on the recess field.
It feels like something you'd hear out of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I mean, I got chills hearing her tell this, and I'm like, what kind of party story is this?
But then, I don't know how much we could trust this narrator, She said she was drinking. She said she blacked out. I felt like I was listening to Memento or something.
Yeah. I'm like, how are we supposed to believe this person's perspective?
It felt like a Chris Nolan movie. I mean, she was, here, this, with this detail, that detail. She said she flew Southwest to get there. I'm sure that jostled her brain a little bit.
Yeah. Overall, I think she's got to piece things together more thoughtfully when she tells a story going forward. But,
well, on the topic of shits, Haliey was pretty blasé with the fact that she thought that Dasha takes monster dumperonis.
Supposedly, Haliey just came out and said this to Dasha's face before they recorded. Earlier in the day,
she takes scraps.
Yeah. I bet you take huge shits, something like that. And
Dasha confirmed it. She did, though.
She did. So Haley's got a pretty good predictor for that kind of for those kinds of matters.
They were talking about poop. And again, a lot of this vulgarity was coming from Dasha. And then she moved on to talk about asses after talking about poop. She was saying that she comes from a great lineage of great asses.
Yeah. Apparently, her family's breeding for ass is what I took from that.
Well, and she even said she would trade Haliey's tits for her ass.
I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, it felt like a compliment and a slight at the same time.
No, come on. I mean, like the tits versus ass debate in general. Where do you stand?
Well, I was actually going to segment into something. I don't know if we should be talking about that on the show.
You know where I stand.
Okay, Dr. Ditzler. Let me ask you this. Do you think women should dress slutty?
I think they should do whatever makes them feel comfortable.
Or do you think it's wrong that Haliey said that she should show some ass while she still has it, before her tits touch her toes?
Yeah. I mean, I would agree. I think, well, it's also up to Dasha. I mean, Dasha should do what she feels comfortable sharing with the world. I don't see you
walking around in little booty shorts showing your fucking cock and balls hanging out like a little roost.
Again, it comes back to comfort. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable doing something like that around the apartment.
Well, look, I mean, the thing is, they were kind of getting off on this detour, and then, Haliey brought it back to light, saying she's self-diagnosed as lactose.
Or lactation. She got it mixed up. And then Dasha got on her ass about that. She said, those aren't even the same thing. But if you check like the Latin root of lactum, there's definitely a through line there.
Yeah.
Like lactation creates milk that contains lactose.
Yeah.
I don't know what was so confusing for Dasha about that, but the lactose intolerant revelation was interesting.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, a lot of people have lactose intolerance, and I have it. I'll take some pills before I do ice cream, and it's really no big deal. I don't think this should really impact Haliey's social life or work that much. I'd be amiss to see any of those things being impacted severely,
Yeah.
So later in the episode, the girls, Dasha's doing a lot of heavy name dropping. She starts talking about Mr. Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
She starts talking about her celebrity crush. She claims she slept with her celebrity crush. Won't tell us who it is. She says she's going to have to tell the girls off camera.
Yeah.
I think a lot being said off camera. Why can't we hear? Why can't we know? Who is
it's like Haliey doesn't have a Patreon yet. It'd be one thing if they were sharing the story on Patreon, but to just outright save a story between themselves, I just was like, okay, come on.
Seems like another fib.
Quit teasing it out. Oh, yeah, it could also be
I think she's just, it's like hearing a fifth grader just tell you this, tell you that.
Could be a wholesale lie.
Now, Chelsea said that she looks a little bit like Pookie.
Yeah.
This was a huge moment in the episode for me.
Bit of a bombshell.
And I think that because it works on a couple different levels. Is this Chelsea saying that she wishes she was in a romantic, intimate relationship with Haliey? Or is she
vice versa?
Or is she confirming the cousin theory and saying, Pookie looks like me because he's my cousin? What do you think?
Well, it was still up in the air about whether Pookie is Chelsea's cousin. So this wasn't a bit of another breadcrumb for that theory. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I kind of took it more as more evidence for the theory that Haliey might be bisexual.
We already know this. Haliey's confirmed it before.
She's more into feminine-looking men.
I wouldn't throw the label on it either. I mean, we know she's kind of above the sexual spectrum.
Yeah, I think she's pretty fast and loose with this kind of thing, and I think this was another supporting case for that theory.
But we also know that she would fuck Morgan Wallen and she would have a burning cooter to do so because she's worried he would have STDs. Whatever. This just takes us back to, what do you think Pookie's family would think? What do you think Matt Rife would think?
What?
I think Matt Rife, it'd almost make him step on the gas a little bit because he's jealous. Hearing, now I got to step up, the game. Got to get on that.
Look, if Pookie's family wants to skip forward ahead, they can. There's nothing holding them to that segment of the podcast.
But what do you think they think? Say they watch it. What would they think? Say you're Pookie's dad. You're watching it right now. What do you think about that?
I come home from a 9 to 5 where I'm probably working construction like my son. I sit down in the Lazy Boys and I turn on Talk Tuah. I'd hear that and I'd be like, girls got taste.
Really?
And I think that it's more of a testament to Pookie's character that Haliey stands by him in the face of this growing fame.
But again, I think it's this kind of, I don't want to diagnose it as this codependency, Freudian thing, but it's like she feels this defensiveness with Pookie that she doesn't want anyone else looking at Pookie or giving him an attention. But then she's a free agent to be, potentially asking Kid Leroy what panties he's wearing, saying she would get STDs from Morgan Wallen.
She might be a free agent in her head, but she's on Team Pookie. That's all there is.
You think this is nothing more than a silly jest?
Yeah, it's all just play things with her head, with her mind. She's just theorizing, and
Do you think she's almost running these situations? Sometimes I think when people bring that up around friends, they almost want to see what reaction the friend would say of, oh, I could totally see you with Morgan Wallen, and then maybe give her the confidence, oh, maybe I should be with Morgan Wallen. You don't think there's any element of maybe a little planting of a seed there?
No, I don't.
What do you think it is?
I just think Pookie's got it all. Okay. And prove me wrong. Pookie, go ahead, prove me wrong. I think you've got it all, Buster. I think you've got the total package.
Well, they end the episode kind of with saying who they would fuck, marry, or kill.
Yeah, that was what brought up the Morgan Wallen proposition.
Yeah, they were talking a lot about country stars, which honestly, I'm not really tapped in that world, so I don't know how much I could speculate.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the number of the names. But we got to there was one run up that I thought we both kind of were thinking about. It was Kid Laroi, Matt Rife. I don't even remember the third guy.
Let's pretend it's Pookie.
No.
What would you say?
Well, then I'd marry Pookie. Otherwise, if Pookie wasn't in the original
marry,
equation,
kill Kid Laroi, Pookie, Matt Rife.
Okay, kill Matt Rife, marry Pookie, fuck Kid Laroi.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you kill Matt? You're just jealous. You don't want him getting in the way of Pookie at all.
Yeah, he's interfered enough.
So
get him out of there.
So you're not that confident that Pookie has her locked up. If Matt is living, breathing, and doing hilarious stand-up, then, there's an element of potential sway.
No. Because the original trio did not include Pookie, and in that case, I would have married Matt. I do think he's incredibly gifted and funny. I just don't... When it comes to the relationship with Haliey, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Maybe I should fuck Pookie just so that Haliey can keep him and marry him. Yeah. Maybe that should be my answer. And I should marry... Maybe I should still marry Matt so that I have him... Haliey can be free with Pookie. I think I was looking at that the wrong way.
What do you think marriage with Matt would be like?
I think he'd be cracking jokes all around the house. I think I'd be laughing.
Yeah.
I'd wake up probably with a smile on my face, with a giggle in my mouth, and I think I would I think life would feel 10 pounds lighter with that guy just cracking jokes all the time around the house and me just laughing at him.
I mean, he'd be an incredible partner, I think.
He's an incredible comedian.
Listen, I wonder what it would be like to marry Kid Laroi, I'll say that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
I don't know, man. I mean, ever since she talked about what kind of panties he was wearing, what do we know about him? He's young, he's Australian.
Can we backtrack? He's not an actual kid, right?
Oh, I hope not. We're going to have to edit this.
Yeah.
I thought he was like a rapper in his 20s or something.
Okay.
He's young.
That's the vibe I get. I don't know why he goes by the name Kid Laroi. It's a little misleading.
Yeah.
But no, I just wanted to clarify. It just wasn't.
If we had to take the bullet for Haliey, we would definitely. I agree with you, marrying Matt Rife.
Yeah, I guess that's that's the safest choice.
Just to see kind of like the world through those kind of tinted glasses of just probably the best comedian we have right now, and
and he's just hot as fuck too. That is like the craziest thing. Great. For him to be super hot and funny, I just like.
I feel like if you were married to Matt Rife, you'd never have to watch or listen to any movie or TV. Like, he would be so entertaining just being able to talk to him, pick his brain.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm saying he's hot. Like, I'm a guy. I just think he's pretty hot.
Yeah. He's got a great look.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let me ask you this.
I'm getting mixed up here.
We know that Haliey's not a Swiftie. She said she likes a couple songs off Taylor's Red album. Okay. Isn't a huge... I don't think she really has any strong feelings one way or other for the Travis Kelce relationship. And they kind of, ended with asking who the mother of country was.
Yeah.
Do you have a strong opinion on that? I'm kind of tapped out.
Well, I think there was a mix-up between Dasha and Haliey. I think they don't understand what the concept of a mother is.
Oh, I think Haliey understood quite well.
Well, Haliey, I'll give her more credit because she was quick to say Reba McEntire, just a singular figure in the country music scene. Dasha wanted to rattle off 5 different mothers, and they all span generations of country music, which, there's a mother, and then there's a daughter, and then there's a granddaughter. I just like, why muddy the waters? It's just stick to one, keep it clean. She was
name dropping a little bit. I mean, I think these are all people she's worked with.
Yeah.
I think those are all people that she knows. She mentions each one and then says how she knows them.
Yeah, I'm just like, if you're going to name a mother or a father of an industry, there's going to be one.
Yeah.
And, it's tough to narrow it down, but that's the job of a critic or job of an enjoyer of that medium.
One, I think, she finally got what she wanted in the end. She ended it by, getting to recite Talk Tuah, spit on that thing.
Yeah.
And I think that, to me, felt like really the only reason she came on the show.
Yeah, she finally got it out of Haliey. Or wait, no, she finally said it herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, she tried to
She wanted
pull it out of
Haliey
Haliey earlier.
but she said it herself.
Yeah, Haliey ended it with asking, what's the one move in bed that drives a man wild? And Dasha goes, Talk Tuah.
Which I think that was Haliey, conceding a little bit, saying, I know you want it, just take it.
Yeah, giving up more ground than I think she should have.
Take it and go, and we ended that up. Again, not enough. There were some great highlights.
Yeah, of course, as there always are, usually because Haley's carrying it.
I'm a little tired of seeing her carry the pod, though. I'd like to see a guest that comes on that kind of puts us more at ease.
Yeah.
Someone that's not coming in to solicit their own products or brands or whatever.
Yeah.
Not name dropping. Not digging at Haliey or Chelsea.
Someone who's just coming on to chill and have a good time talking to Haliey.
Yeah.
Well, I think this was a pretty good summary of episode 4 with Dasha. Haliey, again, great host.
Yeah.
Proving just what a talent she is in this industry. I mean, I'm excited to keep going. Episode 5 is next week. That's probably going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, I saw that it's going to be JoJo Siwa.
Oh, that's amazing.
Pretty controversial figure, but I'm
excited.
I feel like Haley's going to be able to balance her out pretty well.
And I think as long as Chelsea's still there, I think it's going to be potentially a match made in heaven. So, guys, we'll see you next week. Be sure to watch Talk Tuah first, and then check us out. We're the companion podcast, so you can know what we're talking about.
Yep. Thank you again for listening. If you want to take a picture of yourself watching our show and post it, tag us, #TalkingTalkTuah, and name a potential guest you'd like us to talk about Talk Tuah with. We'll try to book them.
And we will repost you.
Yeah.
Okay, if you tag us. So
thank you again for your support. Thank you for your listens. Thank you for your downloads. Thank you for your likes. All of that. I hope you had a great time joining us today and can't wait to talk with you next week.
Click like and subscribe on that thing.
Have a good one.